Well, welcome, Chef Bernard. We're
Bonjour,
so
bonjour.
happy to have you
Bonjour.
here. Good morning, Mercy.
Good morning, Marie. How are you?
I'm very well. Well, we seem to be getting off to a better start than last week.
Yes,
So.
Facebook Live should be working, so hopefully people will join us. We have an amazing guest with us today, and I want to make sure that I'm saying certain things right. Do you pronounce the S at the end of your name?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay,
Yes.
just want to make sure. But since 1994, Chef Bernard Guillas. He's been responsible for that amazing marine room and all the resort's 3 restaurants, the Jolla Beach Tennis Club, the Shores Restaurant, and of course the marine room is a AAA 4-diamond restaurant. It's so beautiful. The floor-to-ceiling windows. Oh my gosh, so romantic. And when you go during the season, they have the high tide brunch. Oh my gosh, just banging up against the windows. It's just like, whoa! And then the food is just so elegant and fantastic. And
It's a lot of fun, I have to tell you.
I'm sure.
And I love, this is my office. So every day I just look outside, I rejuvenate,
Oh, you're
and
so
I'm
lucky.
ready to be in the kitchen and have
So
fun
lucky.
with my team. Yes, it's awesome.
Bernard, for those who don't know, who are listening outside of San Diego, he's one of the master chefs of France. He was inducted into the exclusive and elite organization Maitres Cuisiniers de France.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very
I
good.
practiced.
Indeed.
than me.
And I took French in high school, but that was just a couple years ago. And there's only about 200 chefs in this elite organization. And Eric Ripert is one. He has the Michelin-starred New York restaurant Le Bernadin.
Yep.
And we are also lucky to have another master chef in San Diego, Patrick Ponsanty, who I believe now is at 1,500, I think.
Yep.
In
Yeah.
Coronado.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Coronado, right. And Chef is also the author of 2 books along with, is it your Chef de Cuisine, I think?
Yes.
Yes, Ron
Oliver.
Oliver. We have one of them here. This is his latest one.
No,
this is
actually,
the older one.
this is the first one.
This
Yes.
is the first one, Flying Pans.
Flying Pan.
2 Chefs, 1 World. And his latest book is 2 Chefs, 1 Catch, a culinary exploration of seafood. Welcome, Bernard.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure being here.
I think so, too.
It is all about sharing our passion and sharing the love.
Absolutely.
Well, we were really excited. If you didn't see our little short snippet last week, we had the pleasure of going and taking a little tour of Chef Bernard's kitchen last week.
Oh, my gosh.
And Mercy, what did you think?
I really, you could eat off the floor, you could eat off of any surface in there, and it's not gigantic. Because when you walk into the restaurant, it is stunning, it is spacious, it is beautiful, the ceilings are so high. So I always expect, I don't know why, but I always expect a kitchen to match that.
Yeah, and you see, my kitchen is very small. But what I like about a small kitchen is that everybody really works together. There's great communication. There's no drama, and everybody has fun. Second thing is I cannot make it larger because it's built below the level of the ocean. So I mean, it's what you see is what you get. So what you do is when I came in is I had to really put systems that would work really well to be able to produce the high level of cuisine as well as the high level of volume that we do. And with Ron Oliver, so Ron has been with me for 20 years, longer than most marriage in America or in the world for that matter.
Sad but true.
But I have to tell you, we really have developed a really great platform for very innovative and fun cuisine. So all the team that we have in the kitchen has been with us for a long time, but yet we also have a lot of people a lot of kids from culinary school who are coming in and they work a couple of years and then move on. So it's a really neat spot. It really is a neat spot.
You have truly churned out quite a few really amazing chefs in the San Diego community and beyond. And we were just talking this morning. I had missed this fact, but Accursio Lota, that is now at Solare, I did not realize.
My Italian son.
I was like,
He
what?
was-
Okay.
He was my sous chef at the Marine Room for something like 2 years. And he is such a talent. And this is why. He has won all these best chefs, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really neat. It's a great spot. It's very, very unique location. And it's a Grand Dame. When you look at the Marine Room, it's a Grand Dame. It started in 1945. And we kept it really youthful, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's really
And the
cool.
food is, it's a work of art when it lands, in front of you, but it's also just so approachable too. You don't make the food feel scary.
It's not too fussy.
Well, let's put it this way. There's one thing that I learned when I was an apprentice. I did my apprenticeship in a 2-star Michelin. And my chef told me, say, you know what, if you want beautiful food, do not torture your ingredients. Means that do not, do not, do not overcook or over prepare or overdo the presentation or the whole dish. What you want to do is you want to make sure that there is synergy on the plate. So every single ingredient has its own personality and contribute to the making of that dish.
I love hearing that. So it's simplicity.
It's simplicity,
Yes.
yes.
And some chefs do sort of overcrowd a plate sometimes with too many things on it, too many ingredients. I mean, I love having a flavor profile where I can go, oh, I can taste this and I can taste this, and not, what is that,
Well, fusion cuisine can become confusion cuisine. That's the problem. And the problem is this, is that you will have one ingredient who will overtake the whole plate. And then you just lose all the integrity of each of those ingredients, which is really important. As it's a voyage. When you are having dinner, it's a journey. And that journey has to be seamless when it comes to its food, its profile, and its design.
Right. After so many years, you really still enjoy coming up with new things all the time, because I have read his bio on several different websites, and this man has traveled all over the world and has experienced so many different cuisines, which I think is so important to inform your own repertoire.
Well, I've been very privileged to travel as much as I've been traveling. You would have said, Bernard, would you have ever dreamed to travel all those places? No, it just happened. I think it is part of that journey that we all have. We all go different places and we all discover different things. We're over here today. Right. We never really planned it until, last week and say, hey, let's get together and we're going to share the love. Right. Boom. But when it comes to cuisine, everyone is very proud of their own heritage. So every country, every places that I travel, I always make sure that I go into the farmers market, because the farmers market is the heartbeat, I would say, of the city or the country. People are very proud of their heritage, so when you go to the market, they will have you taste little things over here, over there, and then suddenly you immerse yourself. From that, what I do is I take notes, and then I'll see what I can weave into my cuisine. And Ron does exactly the same. So this is why you look at the cuisine itself that we have at the Marine Room. Yes, the roots are French.
Right. When
it comes to techniques and everything. And the rest is the canvas. The canvas is weaving of ingredients and cultures and flavors that we have discovered during our travels, which is awesome.
And I'd love to hear about, in all your travels, is there one or two places that have just stood out in your memory for maybe ingredients you found or that you cooked there or that you've tasted there?
Well, there's one place where has a little bit of everything that you just mentioned, plus one more thing. I was in Tbilisi, which is in the Republic of Georgia, about 10 years ago. And I go to the market, of course. And when I arrived there, there's a guy there's a butcher who was, cutting meat, but he's cutting meat with an axe. And I'm like, oh my God, really? And I mean, there was no refrigeration on these big, huge pieces of ice, and the fish was on it. But it was really, really awesome because it make you think a little bit how everything was processed a long, long time ago. Wow. But in the meantime, the cuisine was awesome. The people were awesome. It's just, it was a great.
It was
journey.
Memorable.
And I have some of the spices that I discovered there. I brought back with me.
What spices could you tell us that we've not heard of before?
Tsuneli. Tsuneli is a blend of savory herbs that they are using over there. They have one who is for fish and one who is for meat. You have Uxco Tsuneli, which is for the meat, and you have the other Tsuneli who is for the fish. But what's really great about it is that you take this back with you at your restaurant and you create a new dish. And I created a dish that was with chicken. and it was crusted with the tunelli. And everybody was like, oh my God,
What is that?
And this is great because then you educate your staff as well. I'm talking about the servers. So servers get very excited because there is a story behind it. So it's not only, well, went to the marine room, yes, it was great, but there's a story behind it. And then beyond that, then you start new tradition and you look forward to see what is cooking in the kitchen. Right. So that was one place. And other places, I would say, Korea. When I went to Korea, this is where I discover pickling at its glory. I mean, it is just amazing how they approach everything, but it's very, very clean cuisine as well. So Korean cuisine has a little bit of a dilemma because in this country, you say Chinese cuisine, everybody knows. Mm-hmm. Thai, everybody knows. Japanese, and you say Korean, you go, what is that?
Right.
So it's really neat for us especially for me to go over there and discover things and come back over here in San Diego and discover that actually we have amazing Korean restaurant in our region. And I have been to many of them and it's awesome.
Do you have a favorite that's here locally in San Diego?
No favorite, because when you say, do you have a favorite, then it's like, do you have a favorite kid? And you say, no, I love them all. So what people should do is that they should actually get the last, is it last issue? I think it's the November issue of San Diego Magazine, where they are taking you all around San Diego when it comes to many different culture, cuisine, and style, which is really good. So you had your Korean, your Chinese, your Japanese, your Russian. I mean, you're Indian, you name it all. You have all those cuisine, French, and I mean, it's really, really cool. So it means that you don't have to get out of San Diego. You don't have to go to the airport and say, I'm going to try to go over there. I'm going to visit the country. You start your visit locally. Get educated already. Give you a platform, a baseline. And then when you plan your travel, you already are aware about and familiar about what's going on in that country and really can enjoy yourself.
Well, that's for people who do have an adventurous palate. I have always said that I think the majority of the public does not have an adventurous palate, and they want the same old things, and that's why we see chain restaurants that do very well, and they don't want to get out and explore. And even though I love American cuisine, I get pretty bored with it sometimes, and I want to try other cuisines. I don't care how strange it is. I had Ethiopian food for the first time last week, and I loved it, the variety.
But going on the chain cuisine.
Yeah.
I have to say that there has been some evolution because there is a lot of those chains who are bringing some different element into their cuisine to make it be more exciting and more, I would say...
who does that?
Oh, a lot.
It's an introductory, right?
A lot. It's introductory, but it's a lot. A lot of those guys are doing it, which I think is good for everyone because if you start on the chain cuisine and you get your palate a little bit, you educated, I would say, then you feel good to maybe try the little cafe or the little Chinese restaurant or whatever cuisine. Then it's the beginning of the journey. Then you go, okay, we're gonna go Ethiopian cuisine, and you go, what do they eat? And then you come in, and the ambassador of that restaurant is the waiter. The waiter is the person who will make that journey just awesome. So this is why, it's you have to try it and just trust the waiter, and then you will have a great time.
Right. Well, I want those places to survive.
Oh yes, they will. They will.
That's what I want. I hate when a little mom and pop place open, and they don't get the they don't have the money to advertise it. Although we have social media now, and that's kind of free. So, that upsets me because I had some friends who opened a fantastic sandwich and soup shop, pretty simple. And it just didn't survive, and I get sad when I go by there, and I'm like, what happened to it? And as many know, it's one of the most difficult businesses to start and to survive. Yeah. As long as you have, I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, let's put it this way: there's things that have changed. Talking about your social media, chefs have to be involved and be part of social media as well as, of course, from the house and the restaurant itself. But usually chefs do not do that much because, it takes a little while, it takes a few minutes to do it. But I have to tell you, if you really want to be successful, share your passion, share your love. And what I mean by that is you take that picture, and you write a few little words on it,
Right.
and then people go, "Oh, wow, that's really cool." But it's not only that. You have to also have diversity. So if you go to the farmers market, I'll take some pictures of the farmers market. It doesn't have to be pictures of me, but it's pictures of the food or what I discover or that special moment. And then videos. It's not only pictures anymore.
Videos, yeah.
Videos are one of the most watch social media now. So I just was playing with that. I started about maybe like a month ago, and there were some really beautiful sunset, and it's amazing. I mean, it's like
Well, your
600,
canvas
800.
is quite spectacular.
Yeah.
But it start with that, and then you can do so much.
Right.
So, but you have to be short, 20 seconds,
Right.
and then there has to be a little story, and then it's what we need as a restaurant, because you need to have that platform to really help
Right.
Absolutely.
to market properly.
Well, I love hearing that you do that because, like you said, a lot of chefs or restaurants, they have their social media team, a few kids working for them doing that. But it's still not the same of what the chef is experiencing
In
or
the
team is
kitchen,
experiencing
live,
in the kitchen,
in the
live.
moment.
Absolutely. And when I did a quick little video with Tay Dickey over at Biga in downtown of him just melting some raclette under this burner and scraping it onto a sandwich from Grand Old Barbecue. It got 40,000 hits, okay?
Yeah.
So it shows that video alone was just amazing. People want to see
Absolutely.
food move. They want to see it be alive. So,
They want to feel it.
Yes.
They want to feel it. Feel
It
the
has to,
food.
it has to be. It has to, it's I would say edible art, but it is on the screen.
Yeah.
And this is what people really want to feel.
I feel so blessed to be in this time period
Yes.
where we can see these kind of things
Yes.
and experience things that
And I'm really
Yeah.
glad that time period didn't happen when I was in high school and now those younger days.
Yeah.
So I'm quite
Yeah,
happy about that.
Exactly.
But I know that with you have a place that everybody comes to because that's their vacation. This is your workplace. You have this beautiful place, and I know you get to travel to a lot of spectacular locations. But what's on your bucket list?
Bucket list is it's quite simple, and it's not on the beach. It is
Because he's there all the time. So.
it's most likely in Tibet.
I want to know about
Lhasa,
Tibet.
fly to Lhasa, and I have a friend of mine who is High Lama, who live in San Francisco. He grew up with Dalai Lama, and him and I talked, and I told him that I wanted to go to one of the monastery really in remote areas, so most likely about 14,000 feet.
Wow.
And then you stay over there and just meditate. And he asked me why. And I just told him, I said, because I know a lot of things about a lot of people, but I don't know much about myself. So to discover who you are I would say, in a place where there is no pollution, and the pollution could be noise pollution, can be any type of pollution. It's just like you're right there. It's important for me. So that's what I want to do, because what we do in life, we're givers. So we create experiences. We do, and I love to do it, and that's my life, and I would not change one thing. But that's one thing that I want to do, and most likely I was looking at maybe next year, but my calendar next year is getting crazy already. So I have to make sure that I put one
Plan in
date,
advance, yeah.
and I think it's going to happen in 2019. That's what my
Well,
goal
I
is.
could not be more excited. First of all, I just adore the Dalai Lama. Try to follow a lot of his advice, and I love hearing that a chef that I admire so much is into, dare I say, metaphysics, or at least looking inward, which I think is really important because it just informs you in so many other ways. But we're not here to talk about that. Although I can go on another whole podcast just talking about those kind of.
I'm with
things.
you on that one, big time.
Yeah. Well, it's just why couldn't it be so that as you improve yourself inwardly, it also informs what you're putting on the plate?
Absolutely.
Well, there's one thing that is a commonality, and it's one word: balance.
There you go.
Balance your life, balance your dish. We're here for a short time, so if you are able to keep it as balanced as possible,
Right.
and give back to your
You were going to
your
say
friends.
feminine.
No,
No?
I was going to say your fellow human beings.
Gotcha. Okay.
See that French just got right in between. I think that it's important. That. I mean, that's what we do. I mean, just be nice, give back,
Oh, sure.
share, and I'm very lucky because I love what I do. I love what I do.
It's very obvious, don't you
and
think
it's
so?
just
Absolutely. Now, once you get to the point where you are reflecting on yourself, you've had to go through quite a few lessons in life.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about one of the hardest lessons you had to learn during your early years of coming up through the kitchens?
What we do in France is we have career day when we are kids. So
Right.
that was a long time ago, but it was like 30, well, it was 40 years ago, and they will watch the kids to see what the kids' natural abilities are. So I did everything that the boys do, and then one day I was working on a little moped, and I had grease over my hand. I look at my buddy and I say, "What are the girls?" Because the girls are cooking. I go, "Oh, well, good enough for me." So I'll go and cook. So I went over there, and if you want to become really well known and one of the favorite on campus, make a nice chocolate souffle, and it will change your life.
Make you popular, yes.
And
one of the most
popularity
difficult things.
just.
Right.
But anyway, so then I did my apprenticeship. And when you do your apprenticeship, and so that's what I really love about France, is that when you do apprenticeship, it's 3 weeks at the restaurant, 1 week at school for 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
So what happens is when you get out of your apprenticeship and then you're looking for a job, you have received all the training that you needed.
Hands-on, real
Hands-on.
training. Mhm.
Yes, but I have to tell you, it's very, very serious. Because I remember one day, that's the answer of your question. I was like 16 years old, you party and this and that, and I was very, very good. So usually what they do is when you are doing your apprenticeship, the chef puts you in the pantry and then in the prep and then in desserts, and you're always prepping and helping. But when they see kids who have talent or potential talent, they put them at the stove. They call it the piano. This is where everything is created, at the stove. So I was working there, and that day I was off. And I was staying at the, we lived at the restaurant. I was living on top of on top in the rooms upstairs. And I was off. And he looked at me and he goes, I show you how to do it. You have to do it this way. I said, "Oui, chef." And I do it, and guess what? I messed it up. And he looked at me and he said, "This is fine. You can go to bed now." I had to tell you, that boy cried for 2 hours.
Oh.
You know why? Because I felt that it was a failure for me. So it was like, I will not let this happen again. But, he made me who I am today. And it was like,
Sure.
it's got to be perfect. It's got to be focused. It's got to be fun. But at the same time, you have to make sure that every single things that you do on that plate, when you build that plate, has to be perfect. Because you share it with someone else.
Right, and how many
Lovely.
successful people have talked about they had to have failures first.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have failures to get to success.
Correct.
Yeah.
And life is just not the bowl of cherries and everything is perfect all the time. So,
The other thing is that you have to remember is, it's when you go in that career, is that there's no more holidays.
Right.
There's no more of the regular, seeing your regular friends and stuff, because, we are very different. I start at 8 o'clock in the morning, always, 8, I'm there. And then usually I go home around 9 o'clock at night. So I was 12, 13, 14 hours. But
Right.
I do it by choice. I like it.
yeah.
It's not like, it's not a chore. It's just like, this is cool. And there's so many things happening during the day who are, so different. But as a chef now, it's not the cooking that counts, that only counts. You need to be a good marketing personality. You need to be a lawyer. You need to know all the laws of
Oh,
everything
God
that's
forbid.
going on.
I don't want to be a lawyer.
You need to be a CFO, financial. You need to know your finances really well. So it's really, there's a lot.
It's a very dynamic position
It's
now.
a very, very dynamic
Right.
position. And if you love what you do, then you'll be fine. So what I told the young kids who are coming into the business, I said, so how do you like math? And they go, well, Matt, chef, she's not my favorite. I say, well, this is the deal. Numbers are like spices. You need to know them really well if you really want to be successful. So you have to be intimate with your numbers as you're intimate with your spices, and then you'll be very successful. But those are the things that you need to do these days.
Right.
And it's really cool. It's good.
I love the fact that you're not a youngster, okay, and yet you are so tuned in to what is going on now, what chefs need to be doing. You don't have to be 20 years old, obviously, or 30 years old to know that you have to be savvy.
Absolutely.
With the media and marketing and all of that. And you have just got all that wired, and I love that you're passing that on to a younger crowd.
Well, and your kitchen is essentially a mentorship is the way that you treat everyone in your kitchen, which I think is fantastic. And, we don't have an apprenticeship program here the way that they do in France anymore. And so this is the closest thing, really.
But what you have externships. So if the kids are doing externships and going to the right restaurant, then they get, I would say, a similar training that I have. The only thing is theirs is very short compared to what I had to do. But, this is only one part of it. I had a young man who came in the kitchen, and he was about 18. Saying, Ron, I was watching. I said, Ron, I don't know if this kid's gonna cut it. So I say, he's good. He's an introvert, but he's very focused. He's a little slow, but I think he's gonna be good. And now he's an executive chef in Las Vegas now.
Wow.
Fantastic.
And that was in a lifespan of 12 years or something like this when he started with us, and then he moved on other places, and now he's super talented and successful. Yeah.
And clearly, I think that is kind of one of the dreams for those young chefs that are coming in, is to be able to find a position within a kitchen who has that mantra within the kitchen. Yes, it's very tough work. There's a lot of expectations, but to be able to find themselves dropped into a kitchen where there is that mentality of you're here to learn and to grow and then move on, I think is very different.
In the kitchen, what you need, if you want a very successful kitchen, you need to have a great mentor. So Ron is a great mentor, and I am a good mentor as well, I guess. But him and I, we do a really great job to make sure that everything is really well balanced. But you need to have good reward and recognition program. You need to remember that you spend more time with that family, which is your kitchen, than you spend with your own family.
Right.
You need to make sure that you have good coaching and counseling. You make sure there is accountability. You need to make sure that it is run properly. And if you treat everybody the same, and you hold them accountable the same, and you train them and give them support, and you give them great recognition at the same time, guess what? You really have a good kitchen.
Yes,
and,
so important.
And my kitchen is very zen. There is no screaming. There is no. Oh yeah, it doesn't work. Why? What do you? Think. You have to think and remember. Do you want to be yelled at? It's like, no, it's just, this is the old time. When I was a kid, oh man, I saw it, but I never experienced it at age 15 to 18 when I did my apprenticeship. Oh. I have a mentor who was awesome. He was so ahead of his time. But I was hearing from other apprentices how they were just ripped. It was.
They come in horrified from what they've been through.
But
Right?
in France, that's what they called. If you look at the kitchen, they call it a brigade. So it was military style.
Working together too,
structure.
Yeah. And
that structure can be good and can be sometimes not so good. So you need to have. It needs to be structured really well, but it has to have also some flexibility. If you are too rigid, it doesn't really work as well.
Well, I wonder, because of the way you run your kitchen, there's obviously praise involved and not just criticism all the time, which we all have had at our jobs. And, the bosses that do praise you first and then might have a little constructive criticism after, those are the ones you want to do the best for.
Yeah.
You really want to. So would you say there's less turnover in your kitchen than you see and might know of in others?
No, I would say no, there's not less turnover, because what happened is after a year or two that the team they said the cook has been working with me.
Right.
Well, they need to move on.
Of course.
And so there is quite a bit of turnover because, like Ron would say sometimes, have we become like the training hot spot in San Diego or something? Because he's the one who has to deal with them, with that kitchen all the time, because I still have the Jolla Beach Tennis Club kitchen and the Shores kitchen. So I have 3 chefs de cuisine. I have 3 very different dynamic kitchens. But yeah, so, and it's, you know what? It is what it is, and it's awesome because what happened to many of those young cooks have become great chefs. So, you know, it's a little bit a part of Ron and I who stays out there. So we planted the seed, and there has been some amazing harvest, I would say.
Absolutely.
So it's been really cool.
Well, you've kind of you've made sure that they have the passion that you were trying to implement into your kitchen, and they've left with that, and you can tell because they've brought it with them.
Yeah, you know, I came to San Diego. I was in Washington, D.C. The chef of the White House brought me in D.C. And then I moved to San Diego. When I arrived here, and the reason I want to share this is when I arrived here, I didn't want to stay here. 6 months I was here, I just went, oh my God. I was 27 years old. I party in D.C. No, at 10 o'clock, it's like the chicken. Everybody goes to sleep. And I was like, oh my, I cannot do this. And he said, Bernard, just give you another 6 months. I think that it's going to be a really great city for you. That was Chef Michel Marseille. He was the chef of the U.S. Grand Hotel. I was the chef of the Grain Grill.
You were there for quite a while, yeah.
So I was there for 5 years. And then after year 1, what happened was I started to work with a lot of, you know, local farms and fishermen and doing amazing stuff. And I stayed. So I have seen San Diego now for 30 years evolve to be what it is today.
Absolutely.
And it is delicious. Everyone, San Diego is a delicious city. Why? Is because there is so many different style of restaurant and different flavors, and the chef, the crop of new chefs that we have are so talented. Give me goosebumps just talk about it. They are so talented. And I think this is where we're going with our city. And
I
with
think
the
this is our
culinary
time.
scene,
This is our time in San Diego.
well, we planted the seed quite a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And then I would say about 10 years ago, things started to change. And as of today, in the last, I would say 2 to 3 years, it's been really a blossoming of that culinary scene as well as restaurant scene. So it's really, really neat. I mean, you know, the trouble that we had was this. So where's San Diego? Well, you know, we kind of stuck between LA and TJ. And you go, so where do you guys cook? Tacos? Oh, yeah, we took the best. And we cook the best tacos, by the way. Our tacos are awesome. Awesome,
You mean
awesome,
generally speaking
awesome.
in San Diego?
Yeah. Are you kidding?
course,
yeah.
Not the same as LA, not the same as San Francisco. They're
different,
not
yeah.
Texan.
But he goes, you take a taco, for example, everybody has a different approach.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if you want the traditional and the unique one, most likely the best one will be street tacos.
Street tacos.
And the street tacos is going to be done by someone who is like, you know, is from that region. And, you know, it's still coming from his heart or her heart when they're putting it together. Right. And that special spice or that special ingredient they put in will make it like, wow. But you look at where we are today, going back to the restaurant scene and the culinary scene, it's awesome. But there's one thing that we have that most, I would say, cities do not have in the United States. Sorry, the rest of the world. But guess what? We have over 45 farmers market every month. And those farmers market have become, I would say, a little bit of the little mecca for all the chefs to come in and talk to the farmers.
It's a great
and
community.
see what's going on. And we're supporting our farmers, and our farmers are supporting us. Our farmers really are the roots of our success because they are able to give us the best product to work with. So that's why that relationship has been really important, and it's really working well.
Well, we have more farms, I believe, in San Diego than anywhere in the country.
Anywhere in the country
And
per capita, I believe.
Yeah,
yes.
and when I read
3,000 micro farms in San Diego.
Unbelievable.
that is mind-boggling to me. I mean, until I read that stat, I had no clue about that, and I was shocked. And there's no reason not to have the freshest.
Absolutely.
And our farmers.
We're very spoiled.
And our farmers got so much challenges when it comes to growing because water here is such a problem. So the last 2-3 years was really, really difficult. Then we got good rain last year and things started to change a little bit, but we're not out of the woods.
Right.
So we need
Well,
more,
and locally,
we need
the
more
culture
water, more
too.
rain.
I think that we've all recognized that our water is precious, and that
Yep.
we've all started conserving a little more than we used to. We've changed some habits, so I think that we're moving along. It's slow, but it's it's happening.
And what I like is that the city of San Diego has done a good job to not roll back to where we were before. They pretty much kept it about the same. So some people, yes, are complaining, but guess what? If you really want to be sustainable, you need to keep. I would keep the rules that we have now, and it's good because the kids really are starting to. Well, they have embraced it. It means that this is a new way for them to live. Is a new norm, which is really awesome. Yeah. So, our water is our gold.
Yes, it really is.
That's what it is.
And for us in San Diego, I mean, just 10 years ago, the cleanliness of our water was not what it is today.
Right, the quality.
San Diego has done such a great job, along with a lot of the different organizations that are here, like San Diego Coast Keepers, and some of the other organizations in collaboration with the government throughout California, to really make sure that we don't have a disastrous event here in San Diego.
Right.
I remember when I was in high school at La Jolla High, you would see the little signs all the time that said, "Don't go into the water. Can't go swimming today. It's too polluted." And it was consistently like that throughout the year.
Now it's rare, yeah.
So, we talked about farmers market, but there is one institution, I call it an institution now, which is specialty produce, where we are today.
Yay,
and
we love specialty produce.
The reason why I want to bring specialty produce, because they really are able to gather a lot of the goods, fruit, vegetable, herbs that farmers are producing, that because we don't have time to go
travel
all the way
to 3,000 farms.
Well, to the farmers. So those guys do an amazing job. The other thing that specialty does really well is, we are a small community of chefs, and they really are supporting our community every single day. So it's really awesome to have them as partners, because it's not only support, it's partnership. And this is a great partnership. And I remember those guys, Bob and Richard, when they started 30 years ago, when I was at the U.S. Grand Hotel.
Wow.
And they were doing the deliveries and everything. And look at where we are today. So it's really awesome. So great job, you guys.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that you are constantly on the move. I follow you religiously on your Instagram page, which I try not to do in the morning before I've had breakfast, because it makes me quite hungry. But
I was going to say, what? Why?
But what do you have going on coming up?
So coming up, of course, we have the holidays. But then after that, I am going to New York. I'm being inducted in the, let me see here. I have to try to do it in English. It is the
First do it in French.
Académie Culinaire de France, the French Culinary Academy.
Oh,
Okay.
congratulations!
So it was a great surprise. Patrick Ponsanty has been already part of this institution for a few years. So we will be 2 in San Diego. So it's really nice. And then I'm going to do the Wine and Food Festival with Eric Ripert.
Oh, in New York.
In Cayman Islands.
Yeah, the Cayman one.
Oh, Cayman. Oh, yes, I've been there. Wonderful.
So it's going to be really neat, because this is the 10th anniversary. So Eric has his friends coming in. So you will have Jose Andres going to be there. But there's
I know.
Come on, let's go.
There's a lot.
Every
There's a
year.
lot.
Oh,
Yeah. Anthony
yes,
Bourdain
he
is going to be
does.
there. So I'm doing 4 events. There's going to be one for 800, one for 500, one for 400, and one for 15. Ooh. But it's going to be really great. So it's again, having fun, but being a good ambassador for our city. And that's what so they say, San Diego. And say, yeah. So it's really neat to be able to be put in that position. And I am honored to be able to do that. Then I will be doing the Chicago. We have the Elsewhere show. So I think I'm going to be, they have like 20 chefs that they invited to do the cooking demonstration. So I'm one of them. So with
That is
with
one of
a
my
lot of
favorite
top
things
chefs.
that I've ever gone to, is the Housewares show.
Yeah,
it is spectacular.
Yeah, it's
Really?
unbelievable. Yeah.
It is the biggest thing I've seen.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that sounds like fun.
It is,
Yeah.
but it is so much fun. That is one of the best shows
So then I will be back here, and then will be going for a week in South Africa, where I'm doing a dinner at the President Hotel, and I'm doing a luncheon fundraiser for culinary schools who are in the township, which is extremely poor. 1.4 million people or so live in very, very, very difficult
Bad conditions, sure.
So I'll be able to help the kids. So I'm going to be doing that, and then I will be back over here and doing food and wine in Telluride in July, and then I have other stuff coming up over here. But when I'm gone only for like a week, maximum a week.
And you're working. It's not like you're on vacation.
No,
really.
like Chicago for me to go in Chicago, I will be gone 48 hours.
Wow.
It's like in and out. That's it.
Wow.
That's why your trip is being postponed till 2019.
Yes, for this year, yes. And I have a big trip going on in October. October is going to be a big safari. So it's going to be 3 different countries. I have 20 people coming with me, so 10 couples. And it's going to be nice because it's about discovering that region of South Africa. It's not only South Africa, it's going to be Zambia, it's going to be a few other countries. So it's going to be really cool.
Amazing.
And then, I'm busy at the Marine Room, which is awesome. I mean, if that's my life, so I'm there, and I love it there.
I'm tired just hearing about all of it. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Good life, Bernard. Good life.
It's good.
Thank you so much for being here.
It is my pleasure.
Really, it was wonderful.
Always wonderful to see you.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
See you on our next voyage.
Yes.
And we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Have a great week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
That's it for this week's show. Remember to follow us on our Facebook page and Instagram stories to keep up with Hand to Mouth between shows. Use hashtag HandToMouthShow to share what deliciousness you're up to, and maybe you'll be our post of the week.
And a big thank you to the folks at Specialty Produce Network for producing our show from their studio in San Diego, California. Until next time, thanks for listening to Hand to Mouth.